Hello everybody, I hope you're all keeping well. There's a global pandemic going on outside, which is not very good. I hope everybody's safe, and it just sort of means that people are now scalping hand sanitizer instead of Doctor Who dollies, which I guess is good news for us, because today I'm bringing you a review of one of the brand new Doctor Who B&M sets, which is the Third Doctor and TARDIS, based on their appearance in the Monster of Peladon. Now, as always, before we get onto the figures, we're going to take a very quick look at the packaging. The packaging is exactly the same as always. You've got the Doctor Who logo, it's the exact same style, got all the same information on here. Down at the bottom you've got the Third Doctor and TARDIS from the Monster of Peladon collector figure set, limited edition sticker still. On the side, again, the exact same information. On the back, we've got a little product shot of the Third Doctor and the TARDIS, as well as a bio on the Monster of Peladon, and a small paragraph on the set itself down at the bottom. On the side, we have the same information as always, Doctor Who logo, another product shot, and the name of the set again. The backdrop for this set is the cave from the Monster of Peladon, which looks very nice, and on the side over here, we have some other John Pertwee era monsters, such as a mutant up there and a giant maggot down at the bottom. So let's begin, as always, by taking a look at the Doctor. The Third Doctor here is a variation that we haven't seen before, and it's a very nice variation to get. As you can see, the body is the standard John Pertwee with the bow tie, and he has his shoe legs on rather than his boot legs, which is accurate to the story. It's got a very nice dark green bottle jacket, which looks really good, with some grey on the lapels there. The shirt is a mint green, again with dark green trim and buttons there on it, which looks very good, and the trim carries on the cuffs as well. As always, the sculpting on this figure is very, very good. These John Pertwee figures are always very well sculpted. The head has been painted very nicely as well, it looks very good. I think the hair's a little too blonde, particularly considering that this is a season 11 story. I'd have gone for a whiter hair. I feel this is more appropriate for John in his earlier seasons. Moving down, the trousers are almost this kind of weird grey and brown mix, which looks very nice. And you have the shoes down here, which are a dark grey. Articulation on this figure is the same as always. The head can turn from side to side, can't really do a 360 just with the way that everything's sculpted. The arms can do a 360 rotation at the shoulders, 360 at the biceps, bend at the elbow, and a 360 at the wrist. The waist can do it 360. The legs can kick forwards and backwards ever so slightly. They can kick out to the sides, however this is hindered by the jacket. There's a 360 the thighs, bend at the knee, and no foot articulation. Now let's take a look at the TARDIS, and this is the second time that we've seen a Third Doctor TARDIS in a B&M set. The first one, of course, being the Time Monster TARDIS. And this one is quite similar, but there's a number of differences between the two of them. Just to show these differences side by side, as you can see, one of the first differences is the lamp on the Time Monster TARDIS. It was black. Here it is a light blue to match the rest of the TARDIS. The signage is also different. It's grey with black text, whereas on the Time Monster version it was black with white text. Now, the prop at this point in the show was basically knackered. Not all of the police public call box signs were the same, but I guess for budgetary reasons I've just kept them all the same, grey with black text. Moving further down now, you can see that the pull to open sign is basically the version which they used on the Fourth Doctor TARDIS from Robot. The frame around the outside of the sign has been done black as opposed to blue on this one, which basically just sort of gives the impression that the sign actually takes up an entire panel on the TARDIS door, which it did on the prop. And then moving further down, another noticeable difference on this new TARDIS is that it uses the new sculpted base which is more accurate to how the classic TARDISes looked. As a result, there is a difference in the size between the two. You can see the new one is slightly shorter than the previous Jon Pertwee TARDIS, but this base looks so much nicer, and it's not been painted black, which is excellent, because I don't know why they did this. I watched the Time Monster the other day, unfortunately, and it looks absolutely nothing like this, so I have no idea why they decided to paint it black. But yeah, the new one looks far better. Another noticeable difference is that the TARDIS, this newer one, has a much darker wash. Now, I know that some of these Time Monster TARDISes, the wash could sort of vary. You could find some which were particularly dark, and then some which, like mine, were a little lighter, and they didn't have too much of a dark wash over them. But for this new TARDIS, they all seem to have quite a heavy dark wash over the top, which I think is really nice. It looks really good, it's very effective, and that runs over the whole box, as you can see there. The TARDIS has again been cast in this really light blue, much like the previous Third Doctor TARDIS, which I just think is far too bright. It doesn't look too bad on camera, but in person it is an incredibly bright blue. It's too bright, I think. I think they should make it a little darker. As always for the TARDIS, you have the same opening doors. This door can open here and can be closed with a press of the button on the floor. You can also open the pull to open door, but that doesn't have a gimmick, that's just free hanging, and there's a little notch on the roof to hold that door closed in place. Again, coming around to the back, we still have the speaker holes in the battery compartment. There's just nothing that can be done about that, really. These are B&M sets. They are designed to sort of be made for not very much money, and to resculpt the back of the TARDIS would just cost too much. So yeah, we've still got those speaker holes. Best to just not look at it from the back. Overall, this is another rather nice TARDIS set from B&M Bargains. I am really pleased that we are continuing to see these Doctor and TARDIS sets. I think they're really great. I'd love to see more in the future. And this is another really good one, a really good presentation of the Third Doctor as he appeared in the Time Monster. The TARDIS is a much improved version of the previous Third Doctor TARDIS. In all honesty, I think we've had our fair share of 70s TARDISes. In the future, I'd really like to see a Patrick Troughton TARDIS, because we haven't seen an official Second Doctor TARDIS. I'd also really like to see a McGann TARDIS from the TV movie. I think that would be really cool to see. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this set. I have my gripes with it, but it's another really great set. These sets are available now in B&M Bargains, along with the tweaked Doctor and Dalek Big Finish sets, which I am going to get a hold of as soon as I can and bring you a review of those, because I didn't review the last ones because by the time that I got around to getting them, they'd just been out too long and there was no real point in making a review of them. But yes, thank you all very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.